and lead channel partnerships for Payoneer, a NASDAQ-listed payments company. We work with 6 million plus clients. I'm based out of Dubai. I have our team here as well. We have a booth out there, and I've been at Payoneer for many, many years, and have been associated with HIT Games for like the longest years possible. So we'll quickly go around the room with a quick round of discussion.
Hello everyone, my name is Faisal Bitar. I'm the Managing Director of Tomato Plus, part of Tomato Games. I'm based here in Abu Dhabi. I manage the payment network for Tomato Plus. Most of my experience has been in the fintech industry before joining the gaming industry.
Hello everyone, I'm Sandra Kawar, the chapter lead for Unreal Engine Epic Games and the ambassador for Epic Games in the MENA region.
We need to talk after. Thank you so much. My name is Hassan Hammo, Tomato Games. I've been in this industry for the past maybe 15 years. Before Tomato, I had another gaming company. We were doing browser-based games called Wizards. We're doing MMORPGs. Started very strong in 2009, very early, and then it failed in 2012 because of the lack of funding and the lack of experience. And then Tomato started in 2013.
Hello everyone, I'm Alauddin Al-Kurdi. I'm a project manager specialized in game development and publishing projects here in the MENA region. I've been working in this industry for the past 14 years. And right now, I'm a project manager in Challenge X. We are a game development studio and also a publisher in MENA region.
Great. I think thanks so much for the quick background. For everyone here, the gaming landscape in the MENA region has gone through a lot of transformation over the years with VC money coming in and the number of studios that are opening up and growing in the region. We will go through a few rounds of questions that we have for the session today. A bunch of them are more about your perspective of how this region is growing and how this region stands out from the rest of the world, and what has your experience been in the region. So we'll quickly go around the room, starting with you first. Faisal, if I'm not wrong, your company, Tomatum, has been very successful in localizing games for this region. Like when I went to the website, I found that you have found a lot of your success in localizing games very specific for this market. Can you talk a bit about the localization strategy that you have applied in this market and some success tricks that other gaming studios out there could apply?
Sure. So if you were tuning in to Hassan's presentation just 10 minutes ago, most of the tricks were added there, but definitely for us, and as Hassan mentioned, we've noticed that there was a lack of Arabic content in the MENA region. And when you look at the MENA region, you have one of the fastest gaming markets globally. Users are looking for games that are locally adapted and culturally adapted. And when we talk about localization is not just translation, it's not just translating from left to right to left, but it's also ensuring that the game is fully adapted to the MENA region, taking it in terms of the culture, the traditions, and what users like. We've noticed one of the quite number of success in games is really having a social aspect. Having features like leaderboard, chat, really incentivizes and motivates users to interact and to play together. Also, having a leaderboard really creates that internal competition between users wanting to be the top and wanting to be flashy about it. So that is really some of the things that we saw that was quite popular and has really helped. And then communication. Understanding that when you're speaking to a user in Saudi is very different than when you're speaking to a user in Egypt. Yes, we all do speak the same language, but the accent is very different. If you fly to Egypt and you speak anything other than Egyptian, not a lot of people will really understand what you're trying to say. even from an Arab. So having that communication is important. And then finally, and I think very important, is the cultural adaptation and understanding the respect of different types of traditions. And this is very important for users to feel respected when they're playing a certain game, that either the visuals or the avatar resembles their traditions, or is a correct image about their traditions, and not a stereotypical image that you tend to see in Hollywood and other platforms. So I think really cultural adaptation, understanding the user and what the user wants is important, and also implementing certain user behavior that you see quite popular in the region, having that social aspect, I think, is also critical.
Got it. I think that was that was super insightful for me to understand of how you localize yourself as per the market and how these markets act differently. Epic Games is a platform, like it's a company that has been there globally, right? So how did you manage to enter into so many markets successfully, and what has been your market entry strategy in each of these markets? Correct me if I'm wrong, like you have like games catering to a large number of local markets across the globe, and what has been your market entry strategy? So for gaming studios out there who are looking to enter into micro markets or smaller regional markets, what would be your advice?
One of Epic Games' strategies is localization, which is very important. Like Epic Games understand the importance of localization to be relatable to the markets, which is very important in order to spread the audience base across the region. Another way is the esports across the region. We're seeing growth in the market, and Epic Games is really going into a very strong engagement into the major esports events across the region. And the most important part, which is the most important strategy, which is community building. Like Epic Games, we have, like most of the MENA region countries, we have chapters in which it leads the community, it talks with their language concerns, and it makes a really like a big fan and loyal fan base for Epic Games and the tool which is Unreal Engine.
Lovely. I think chapter building is something that we apply here at Payoneer as well globally, where we have local chapters of the marketing assets that we build, and totally relate to it in terms of how the local chapter building and participation in the export events is something that has truly worked for you. Great. A quick question for the next panelists that we have. Tomatum game. I'm sorry, I'm not like really great with new fancy Gen Z names, but great. You have a lot of games which are successful in the region. We wanted to understand what are the different cultural adaptations that you have done for your games in this market, and how have you leveraged marketing into acquiring users for these games? If you can share some real case studies, like I think it's going to be super valuable for all of us.
So I think one of the most important things when it comes to culturalization of some games is that some games require heavy localization and some games do not. And it is okay because in so many different cases we see a lot of companies trying to launch games and they change every single thing in the game from a graphical point of view. And in so many different cases, after 10 years of running this business, I'm starting to notice that seriously the users don't care if you change the background of the game from New York City to a silhouette of Dubai. It does not really add a true value to the game. It does not really make like a big difference for the players. What the players care about the most is the community. So for example, if you are launching an RPG game, changing all of the characters in the game to make them wear Arabic traditional clothes and like a hashmaz, does that make the game more fun to play? Does it make it like nicer? It doesn't. Maybe even like it will backfire. It will make people think that this is like very pretentious, like very like just like you like unnecessary. Because I would like to play the game as is. Even going very much extra modest with changing all of the characters, because the character inside the game is like this big. It will not like make a big difference if you make them change a lot. Especially that a lot of the Chinese friends of ours will keep changing every small thing, even the animals. They want to make them all sheep, and they want to like it won't make a big difference. What makes difference is for people to come and say like the servers of these games are regional, they are quick, or they all of the people that I'm playing with are speaking Arabic. Though that I am not speaking with someone who is speaking a very foreign language that I will not be able to communicate with. Balancing the economy, giving people like local payment methods, for example. This is what it shows that you have localization. Celebrating like a national day, celebrating Ramadan. All of these things make a difference rather than going very, very, very heavy when it comes to localization. In so many different cases, in some of our games, we barely touched the graphics of the game. Like, we launched it as is, but we made all of these things that I told you about. And in some other games, if you are launching a cards game, then yes, it has to be heavily localized because the rules are local. And if the rules are not local, if you keep the game as it is played in France, then people will not know how to play. But this is what heavy localization looks like.
I think these are some wonderful insights into like if you look back and I've not played a lot of your games, but at least if I look at games that are very regional and super successful in the region, they have a global vibe to it, but they are also very, very regional in certain elements, something that you are trying to communicate. But I think great insights. And just as a quick recap for all of you today out here, we have, if you have any specific questions that you want to ask, please feel free towards the end of it. And the agenda of the session again is to make sure that we have meaningful insights, we have some very tangible takeaways from the session in terms of from the panelists that we have today into what constitutes the ideal strategy for a gaming studio looking to launch in this region. Towards our panelists towards the other end, you spoke about running projects at ChallengeX, your company. Can you talk about your playbook for launching a new game in the region? What are the different elements of your project management plan, and what is something that has worked for you over the years in the industry? Like others spoke about what works in this market, the localization strategy. We also learned about some elements of successful games and the elements of games that have not been so successful. Let's take a deep dive into it, and probably you can talk a lot more about how do you manage launching a game in a new geography and different elements from a PMD perspective.
First of all, you have to let me focus on the publishing. As in this topic, we focus on, first of all, finding a good game that is successfully or on the global market, and maybe sometimes in some regional markets, let's say, it's a good game, a successful game in the Korean, South Korean market, or Japanese market, and then we try to contact the development studio in order to take a license to publish it here. So first of all, we have to focus on a successful game that is already success in its market. Second, we have to make some research in order to, let's say, compare between that market and our market here in MENA region. Because here in MENA region, there is multiple game genre that are more promising than the others. So this is the first point. Second, we try to set our publishing plan, which is starting from the localization as mentioned by Hussam, and every single word that Hussam mentioned, we really take care of it, from text to the story of the game, to the visuals, even voiceover and sound effect, background music sometimes. Yeah. After that, we start to prepare for the marketing. Marketing has two, let's say, two phases. One of them, which is the organic marketing, through communities, through, let's say, influencers, etc. And the other side, which is the paid marketing. Yeah. We start to do some testing in order to make sure that the cost per installation is less than the lifetime value of the user. So after that, after this preparation, we start to make closed beta release, open beta release, and then we call it previously the commercial release, which is the official release.
Sounds good. Just a quick follow-up question on that. You spoke about leveraging paid marketing and organic marketing.
Yeah.
Anything specific that you would want to share that probably has worked for you in the marketing side of the house? And both sides of it. One, things that have worked for you, and the second part of the question is an advice that you would want to give new studios to avoid when they are launching a new game.
Yeah, and let me tell you, I reverse something that didn't work with me, which is influencer marketing. In many cases, we paid for influencers in order to promote our game. I worked, for example, in a Balut game, which is a very popular game here in Saudi. So we contacted specialized influencer. Their content was only about Balut. We contact them, we prepare the material that we will share with them, and they start to promote the game. The overall result wasn't that success at all. So you can imagine that the cost per installation reached something between $50 to $60 per user. Sorry. So this wasn't that success story. So I think what I believe is that we have always to test our strategy. We have to start small, make a small contract with any of the influencer, and then let's say make it bigger if it's success. And also it's the same about the paid campaign. Paid campaign, make a pilot campaign, test your KPIs, cost per installation, and the other KPIs, and if it's success, then go forward. If it not, make more modification on the campaign, on the material, on the other aspect of the campaign that you are running, in order to make sure that you will success.
Got it. I think that was like a very useful insight, and studios who are just getting started and people who probably watch this video at a later point will surely find it interesting. If we look at the MENA and the Turkey region, I am personally very well aware of the Turkish gaming industry. We have done events there, we have met studios there, we have companies who use Pioneer to get paid. So I have like a high level understanding of that market. The region has exploded in terms of growth after COVID. There are so many research reports around it from PwC and from a lot of other agencies as well. Like you guys are like the experts in your industry. What do you think are the key drivers of this growth? Like what changed over the last 2 or 3 years that is driving this growth? And how do you see the next 1 or 2 years in this industry? Like, how do you see it for the new studios? How do you see it for mature studios who have like a sizable business? What's your overall take on this wave of growth happening in this region? Probably start with you.
Thank you. So basically, the MENA region is a very, let's say, powerful market, even across the global markets. The main thing is it's youth tech savvy, let's say, quality of people that we have. The government support, as you see, the UAE and the Saudi governments, they're really supporting the gaming industry, actively supporting with regards to education or even the businesses creation in the market. Same goal to the esports growth. So the industry is expanding, is really expanding. It's like the past few years, and it will keep expanding as we go. The thing for the near future is, as Hussam mentioned before, which is a very important point, is the payment matter. For businesses to focus on this payment solution related to the gaming industry, because the industry is very big. It's very big from the players' perspective and the content based. We have a new content, even international companies, they're doing like game content related from Arabic culture. They're not doing this just from a perspective of doing a new idea. They know the power of creating a new content that they can reach a broader audiences, which when you want to do a gaming business, you want to reach really big audience in order to make money. This is the business out of it. And it's very important to focus on adapting gaming into new technologies to make it more immersive. Now we're facing a revolution into technologies, the AI in gaming. Even like a few years from now, we'll see even more stuff coming in. So how can we adapt these new technologies to boost the interaction between players and the interest of players and reach even more and more?
Great. I think I truly agree with you in terms of how the tech advancement and the overall access to youth in this region is growing. What has been your experience, and like what does your conviction say about the next few years?
Definitely, I agree on all the points that have been said. And maybe to double down on these points, I think also the pandemic was a major driver for the growth of gaming. One, in terms of the emergence of new gamers coming into gaming, as well as existing gaming increasing their engagement time. So I think pandemic really helped the growth of gaming. And in parallel to that, we saw also the growth of payments in the pandemic. More than 70% of people within the region started adopting digital payments. You had new digital payments that became the core focus for not only just buying your gaming items, but paying your bills, ordering your food. So that really changed the whole behavior of users, and I think that helped a lot. And then governments, and I think the emergence of more and more maturity of the ecosystem in terms of events, local events, bringing in the gaming community, bringing in international talent into the region, I think is very important. Us being here is also part of helping and maturing the ecosystem. And obviously, finally, the investments that Saudi has been actively doing has put a lot of spotlight on the region, where now more and more international game developers are looking into the region, but also more local game developers, game publishers are aspiring to build and launch more games.
Well, totally agree with what you said, and with all of us being here in this room in Abu Dhabi, and also talks a lot about how the ecosystem is growing and the net new number of companies that are out there speaking with prospects, speaking with other studios and gaming companies does reflect the same. There's something that I wanted to ask both of you, and we can, as we trend towards the end of the conversation today. What are the different technological advancements that you see that will happen in this industry over the next couple of years or next few years? And how can studios be ready to embrace that change? Like any specific changes that you see in technology overall? And you are like the best expert to talk about what is changing.
Okay. Let me tell you something that I witnessed past few days. We were in a competition in Game Jam that is organized by Abu Dhabi Gaming. In this competition, I noticed that the younger developer started heavily to use the AI tools in their development. That means something that the development studio in the future, I think the indie studio, they will have the ability to develop a greater game with, let's say, great visuals and also sound effect, voiceover, etc. by using the AI. Right now, the development studio will focus on the creative side of their work because you know that game at the end they are art. So they will focus only on the creative side. Let's say creating new game mechanics, focusing on something creative in terms of gameplay and the similar aspect. And the AI tools, they will help them in order to make the great games with less, let's say, shorter period of time and also with less of budget. So this is what I noticed.
Great. I think the 4 words that I could summarize is AI cannot take over art. So
No.
that's
No,
what
no, at all. AI is a tool. It's like a pen. You can use the pen to create a great idea, and you can use it to do something normal. So AI will only help us to make things quickly and more efficiently.
Great. I think that was a wonderful insight, and having like a first-hand experience from a game jam truly speaks about where we are headed overall as an industry. Sam, your take on the next few years, and even your company, how are you thinking about growth over the next few years, and like something like other studios possibly replicate?
I think definitely AI is playing a big role. It is like the biggest buzzword in the industry today. Everyone is trying to jump on the train of AI. I think beside AI, because we cannot neglect the importance of AI for sure, but I think there is something happening here in the region will intensify in the future, which is consolidation. Consolidation between different companies. You will see mergers and acquisitions for small companies, and medium-sized companies, and bigger companies in the region to unite, because you cannot have an ecosystem with very, very small companies just all the time. And you will need to have 2, 3, 4 companies unite together to form a bigger company. Then a bigger company will come to acquire these 4 companies together. I think we will notice in the next 3 to 4 years, maybe companies going public in our market. And we will start seeing and hearing news in the future about bigger acquisitions, from small acquisitions to bigger acquisitions that will happen, and this will start shaping up the industry. I think for the longest time, all the students in universities were not excited about the gaming industry or working in the gaming industries because they did not see success stories. And once people start hearing stories like the story of Uber buying Cream, then everyone wants to be in that industry. Like Amazon buying Coke, okay, this is a cool industry. But we don't have a lot of success stories when it comes to gaming, except for the story of Joaquin, which was like very recent, but also it was not very much publicized. You know, to tell the people how did it happen, how to do it again, how can someone replicate this success. It was just like very secretive. So I think the more we start hearing more news about acquisitions, mergers, and bigger investments in gaming, and today I'm happy to say that majority of the gaming companies in Jordan are ex-employees in Tomato. That they left Tomato, they opened their own companies, and now they have like 4 companies in Jordan. Maybe the biggest gaming companies in the Middle East today are like Jordanian entrepreneurs coming from ex-employees in Tomato, which means people started seeing success stories and want to replicate it, which this is the only way for the ecosystem to start growing.
Great. I think this time you touched upon a great point, something I really wanted somebody to talk about, and towards the end of the panel. Just a quick summary for all of you. An industry or an ecosystem grows from small success stories to number of companies who are setting up in that industry, be it gaming, be it AI, or be it any other industry. And then consolidation happening in that industry is a great signal for that industry booming. You talked about Uber acquiring or Amazon acquiring a local company here, and that gives a lot of confidence to local talent to be a part of that industry and to start up. So I think we are truly at the cusp of an industry that has just started to boom into the market, and that brings us to the end of the panel discussion. A quick summary of what we spoke about. We spoke about different strategies that new studios could use to launch into the market, one. Two, we spoke about, very passionately spoke about different project management strategies, gave us a lot of insight into the depth of using different marketing channels, also spoke about the technology of how it is headed and how AI cannot replace the art bit. You spoke about Sandra spoke about their experience of localization, of how their games have been very successful in different geographies. They have massive global presence, and Fazil spoke about his experience of how this market is headed into. Overall, I think it was a very meaningful conversation. I learned a lot of things about gaming industry that I didn't know about before. And once again, thank you all of you for being a part of this panel discussion here. Again, to all of you out here and the ones who plan to see the recording at a later point, you can reach out to them directly, and if anything that you want to add to summarize, or else we are at the end of the session.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.
You don't get to ask questions?
There were no questions towards the end, but yeah, feel free.
I want to thank the panel on behalf of everyone. My question is to you, Kavish.
Yeah.
What is Payoneer doing to achieve success in the MENA market, specifically gaming?
Great. I think I'll just take a step back here and talk about what we do globally, and then jump on to what we are specifically. Yeah. So Payoneer is a fintech platform. We are a Nasdaq listed payments company. We have been around for 18 years now in the market. And what we do is we have a global fintech platform that is suited to all different kinds of businesses. So be it a small business, a micro business, a mid-market, or an enterprise. We work with the likes of Amazon, eBay, Walmart, Booking, Airbnb. All these marketplaces use Payoneer to make payouts to their suppliers and sellers. Within the gaming industry and within the IT and the SMB segment overall, what we do is we have a one-stop payment solution that the gaming companies can use to collect international payments in dollars, euros, pounds from their studios or from clients all over the globe. They can use to collect funds in their Payoneer account, and then they can use the Payoneer account to make payouts, use the Payoneer card for advertising spend, etc. So it's the product, I would say, the Payoneer platform is not limited to gaming, but it's a one-stop solution for any IT services, outsourcing, B2B, export goods business to collect payments. Over the last few years within this region, we have seen a lot of gaming companies organically come through different marketing channels, come and start use and to basically open up an account on Payoneer and start using us. So that caught our interest in terms of understanding this segment better, and we have been investing our time in various micro markets to speak with studios, onboard them onto Payoneer and understand what their pain points are and see if we can address all of them.